Darn. I was really looking forward to them doing the bunny outfits. Unfortunately, no. Episode 6 of Tokyo Mew Mew New, they did not do the bunny outfits. I was really hoping to see, just to see certain people's reaction. That's all it really was. I mean, technically, like I've stated before, this show has been very so much so cleaning up a lot of its more suggestive stuff. It's obviously trying to go for a more toned down version of the original, but still, there was a side of me that was just hoping to see the absurd responses some people would have of them having the bunny outfits. But no, that aside, controversies aside, episode 6 of Tokyo Mew Mew New was easily the best episode of the series. I didn't do an impressions of episode 5, honestly, because at the time I was a little busy and I didn't really have anything to say on it, but I will admit that episode 5, what was cool about it was that we essentially got Mint's episode. Like I mentioned before, Mint was at the very beginning of Mew Mew New, whereas the original, the manga and everything, it took a while. She actually, Ichigo was the first one, and she had to go actually visit Mint, and then she brought Mint in. And it does seem like what they did is they decided to take the segment of the original manga and the whole aspect of Mint regaining her confidence to re-confront Zakuro, and they kind of merged it with Mint's introduction episode where everybody got to go, well, at least Ichigo got to go to her place and first meet her, fight her dog, and all that kind of stuff. And it was really cool because they ended up taking the whole segment of her having to fight her dog and sort of connect that with her restoring her confidence to present herself to Zakuro, which was, I thought, really cool. And I really do think that them keeping Mint's episode of her place until she at least got pudding and lettuce with the party really did allow them to have this really cute little interaction between those characters and have a fun time together. The whole pillow fight and everything was just, it was really good to have. So it is kind of one of those things where I'm kind of starting to see those choices that the writers have made to kind of shift things around come to some sort of benefit to make it feel a lot more cohesive. And adding to that, like I said, episode 6, easily one of my favorite episodes of Tokyo Mew Mew New. Just a fantastic presentation of it. The animation really does feel like they put a lot of effort into it. It didn't feel as stiff of an episode. And then to have like this whole insert song at some point with Zakuro is singing, it was just absolutely fantastic. And to have each of the action segments really kind of play alongside the music itself. So whenever you had a certain pause, a certain ramp up of the song itself, it went along with the action that was happening. And like I said, that was truly well put together. Now, obviously, the lead up to that segment, I think, was more of the questionable area. I think what they decided to do, instead of, I don't believe it was in the original manga, but the previous anime adaptation, what they did is they essentially forced Zakuro to realize that she needed to work alongside them because her, at least what Ichigo puts it as, that her kind of refusing to join the party leads to Mint and Lettuce and Pudding being captured. And this frustrates Ichigo, and she basically calls her out, says, you know, this is all your fault. This is the reason why. And I think that whole aspect really does push her to eventually decide to join them. Whereas this one, I think what it does is it allows them to have Ichigo set aside and explain to Zakuro why she should join. The thing that she's always avoiding, which is to be a part of a team, this is a team that she can kind of put her trust into. Ichigo's able to tell her why she likes each one of these members, why she appreciates Mint, why she appreciates Pudding, why she appreciates Lettuce, and that eventually kind of pushes her in the direction of, I might want to give this a shot. And of course, adding into that, having Mint really, you know, essentially having Zakuro see herself in Mint, even though Mint's really trying to mimic Zakuro in a way, push herself past those limits that she has, get stronger, surpass herself, and Zakuro is like seeing herself in it, like, well, yeah, obviously, because this girl looks up to you, so she's repeating you, which is sort of funny if you think about it. But yeah, I will admit, the first real pose with all the characters together was really fantastic, and like I said, overall, the episode itself was really well put together. I will admit that I'm not expecting too much from Tokyo Mew Mew. It's a magical girl, so they're typically very simple stuff, unless you get into the more psychological types. But Tokyo Mew Mew New does one thing well, which is just have a very basic but impactful scenes with the characters realizing something they want to achieve and pushing towards it. And I think what they achieved with this episode was really well put together. And like I said, adding to that with the music, the action, the animation, again, not having these very basic still shots just flying across the screen, they actually did a really good job of the choreography, the character jumping around, all that animation. It was just really well put together. There was one thing that I wanted to bring up, but since I didn't do an impression last episode, I will admit at this point, as much as I love all these girls, and I'm sure that she'll get better as she goes along, I think the only voicing that I feel is a little bit lacking right now is Pudding. Now, I think she does pudding so perfectly with the Genki nature. Her Genki, very loud self is perfect. But I did notice that whenever Pudding is talking normal, not overly enthusiastic, she doesn't really have her voicing there. So it's kind of odd that she sounds so perfect when she's animated and loud, but she doesn't sound right when she's kind of more normal. So hopefully she'll kind of figure that out, but everybody else has been fantastic. Zokoro does have that very more mature demeanor to herself. Mint has always been great. I think Mint and Ichigo are the two that are really standoutish. And yes, technically Zokoro and her voice. There was a point in the song itself where it felt a little off, but overall, her voicing and her singing was just absolutely fantastic. A lot of voice altering as well, which honestly at this point I kind of expect it with most stuff. But besides the voice altering, besides a couple points in there that were kind of a little bit shaky, I think she did a fantastic job. And again, still technically considering the fact that a lot of these girls, this is their first role, or all the girls. For those curious, this does put us about chapter 8 of the original manga and episode 11 of the original anime adaptation. So once again, we're definitely pushing out a lot of the extra fluff of the original series adaptation, but we're kind of in line with the manga more than the TV series, obviously. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 6 of Tokyo Mew Mew New. Hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, it's really me getting on here and just gushing about how much I love the series. So, but I think it's one of those fan things. I think some people that are fans of certain things just love to hear other people that are happy about it, and that's perfectly fine. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what's all the episodes, subscribe to the channel if you've not already so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, episode by episode impressions of certain shows. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. Any amount that you can support us with is greatly appreciated, and y'all take care.